Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Still Sarah from Brooklyn. I promised a video about facial waxing and shaping eyebrows, and here I am, very close to the camera, to show you guys some of that. It's kind of a delicate process, so being that I'm new to camera work, it's going to be a little bit difficult to show you the intricacies of plucking eyebrows. But here we go. I'm going to show you what you will need first. You need a needle nose tweezer. Should I do the classic thing? Needle nose tweezer. You can use any kind of tweezer, but the regular ones are frankly a pain in my ass. Tweezer Man is a good brand, doesn't have to be. Definitely you want to clean your tweezer with alcohol. You don't want it to be like crusty. It's going to make it not only infection prone, but it's going to make it difficult to tweeze. Needle nose makes it much more precise and just easier to pluck individual hairs. Maybe a spoolie for shaping the brow. This one is from e.l.f. It's on a, or as they say, eyes, lips, face. This is an instant brow lift brow pencil. I wouldn't actually recommend this. I don't usually even fill in my brows. I don't like this pencil, but it's a good spoolie for the occasion. And you can use any spoolie if you want to clean off a mascara one, if you want to use a sample one, it doesn't matter. I have here tiny little nail scissors for cutting any extra long pieces. I wouldn't recommend doing that unless you're pretty advanced, because you can cut yourself and the forehead bleeds a lot. But I will show you how I do it in case you're brave enough. But like I said, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. And then last but not least, here is my waxing kit. The company, as you can see, is Gigi, and I don't recommend nor not recommend this. It is salon quality. We did buy it from a place where you need a cosmetology license to buy the products. The wax is not fully melted, and I would not recommend doing any waxing until the wax is fully melted, because you can get a poor result. It can be too hard, not do what you want it to do. Not spread as accurately as you want it to. So you definitely should wait until it is fully melted if you're going to use wax. And then also do a little test patch, maybe on your hand. Make sure it's not too hot, because you don't want to burn yourself, especially around your eye area. Now for the waxing, you will need muslin. That's just a strip that you use to wax with. I cut them into tiny pieces because you're working with a tiny area, and waste not, want not. You don't want to have a big sticky piece of wax covered muslin and not work with it very well, especially if you are working on a tiny area. You might have poor control with a large muslin strip. And that's basically everything you'll need. I mean, you do need probably more than one of these little popsicle stick applicators. I would recommend a skinny one, because if they get all covered in wax like this one is, it's not going to be much use to you, because it'll be too messy. So you'll probably want one to mix, and then a clean one for when you're actually doing the job. So let's get started. I am going to begin with putting the wax. I like to use wax on the unibrow part in the middle. I especially don't recommend waxing this part here for beginners, because that can get really delicate, and I would save that for plucking, unless you have a really large amount of hair that you feel very confident you can get with the wax without waxing off a part of your eyebrow that you want to keep. You have to be really careful with hot wax in general, but I feel very comfortable in the middle, not going too far to either side. So let me show you how that's done. So you want to get a small amount of wax. Make sure it's not too hot. Maybe touch it first, but you don't want to let it cool off too much, because then it won't spread. And put it just in the middle without going too far to either side. You can kind of feel it if you go too far over too. And then before you let it get too hard, take a piece of muslin, press it on there really good. You want to wait a few seconds. And then I prefer a downward motion because my hair tends to grow like upward there. Usually works better. And now it's almost as smooth as a baby's bottom. Right in between there, I actually see, if you look closely, you probably won't be able to see this on the camera. But I see a spot lower that I need to do just a little touch up right here. I don't like to think that I have hair growing all the way down to my nose, but apparently I do. So you can get, I've got strings of wax that you probably can't see in the camera. Get another piece of muslin. Wait a few seconds. I'm going to pull up on this one. And just checking in the mirror. I got most of the problematic hair there. I know a lot of people go and get their eyebrows threaded. If you love doing that, if you like going to the salon to get your eyebrows done or go get them threaded, then I love that you're supporting your local businesses. I think you should continue to do that. But if it seems like a chore for you, or your eyebrows grow so fast you can't keep on top of them, you can't get to the salon often enough, you can't get to the threading place often enough, then hopefully you'll learn how to, I don't know, trim up, shape up in between. So you don't have to keep rushing to appointments. I know a lot of us are really busy, and for me, it would be annoying for me to have to go somewhere to get my eyebrows done every time that I had stray hairs that I didn't like, because I literally wouldn't do that. Even though I have access to a salon that does it, being that my mother's salon does it, and I mean, I can do it at the salon for myself too, but I prefer to do it at home. Okay, now that you have the middle clear, I like to take my next step. Oh, and you might want to, if your fingers are sticky, you might want to address that before going on to your next step, because it can get stuck in your eyebrow hair. And if your eyebrow hair has gotten sticky because of the wax, there are certain things you can use. Oil. There are usually things that come with your wax kit that help remove the wax, so you can get the sticky out of your eyebrow hair so that you can move on to the next step and not have it all stuck in clumps when you're trying to get them looking all nice and comb them. So here I have my spoolie. I'm just gonna comb them up like this. Now, having big bushy eyebrows, which I don't have, is popular these days, and having them a little longer, people like to comb them up like this and kind of like leave it like that, and that's a look, and if you're into that, go for it. But I don't like these last couple of hairs on the end sticking up, so I trim them on myself. And that's what I'm going to show you with. I usually use a professional hair cutting scissor, but I'm using a nail scissor here. It's very sharp because it's a little bit more control. Your fingers are closer to the blade. And what I would do is just stretch it. It's kind of hard to do it backwards. Stretch out the skin and just very gently make sure you don't catch any of your own skin. That's why stretching it helps too. And this hair is bothering me. And there you go. It's just a couple of hairs that I don't like the way that they normally stick up. And we'll do the other one. Just brush it up like that. Stretch it out. Now I'm using my left hand, so, you know, it's not my favorite thing to do, but I really can't do this with my right hand. I know a lot of stylists who are kind of ambidextrous, my mother included, but since she's doing it on someone else, she can use whatever finger or hand she likes. Doing it on yourself is a little bit more complicated. And I still have a hair there that I don't like the length of. we go, stretch. Sometimes it helps to open the scissor a little wider, but make sure you don't get any of your skin. And there you go. You could comb it back into place. I would like to note that the color of my eyebrows doesn't match my hair, and I haven't touched up my eyebrows or changed the color because it's easier to see the hairs when they're darker, and I wanted to pluck them first before I dye my eyebrows back to blonde and do my touch-up of my roots. So now we're going to do plucking. This becomes a precise action, and you have to be a little bit comfortable with what you're doing and know the shape that you're going for. I always leave my eyebrows the same way. It's great to brush them up a little bit so you make it clear what are the stray hairs and what's really the meat of your eyebrow. You might want to put your hair back for this too. It's not something I thought about, but you could wear a headband or put your hair back. It might help you from getting it in the way. Now getting real close to the camera. You might want to use a lighted mirror. That's a good way to go if you're doing this. And when you have an idea of your desired shape, maybe you have a guideline from the last time you got them done and you can kind of see the outline of the shape that it was originally in. My eyebrows definitely have a defined shape, so I feel comfortable just getting the hairs. What I usually like to do, which kind of helps you avoid this whole process, is pluck in between. Whenever a hair pops up that I don't want there, I kind of just pluck it, and then I don't have to sit and have a whole session with waxing and plucking. But I wanted to make this video and I wanted to show you guys, and sometimes we don't have time to be plucking in between, and we'll just do a whole spa day where we do a little glow up and, you know, improve ourselves however we can, or whatever. It's not about improvement really, but making ourselves feel nice. I like my eyebrows to look a certain way, and I don't like them to be messy, especially not even because I am particularly hairy or have a lot of errant hairs, but because makeup doesn't go on smooth. And trying to wear a nice glittery shadow when you have all this extra eyebrow hair on your lid area makes it difficult, especially when you wear glittery eyeshadow. It really catches the glitter and then it looks funny, and I don't prefer the aesthetic. So this one is close to being done. It's kind of hard to get the camera to focus this close, but I will look over to my lighted mirror if I need to. I do recommend that you do this under the best lighting circumstances you've got because it is a delicate process. Let's go to the other one. Looking at yourself this close in a lighted mirror situation is really unforgiving, and I don't want you guys to be hard on yourself if you're doing this. I want you to understand that nobody likes what they see when they're looking in a lighted mirror. Literally nobody. Not Madonna, not Britney Spears, not Katy Perry, not Joe Biden, nobody. It's when people see themselves on Zoom calls and in lighted mirrors, not Mother Teresa, not your mother, not Princess Diana, and a lot of other people who are probably still alive, they don't like it. Nobody thinks that they look great when they're looking in a lighted mirror or very close up in a camera like this. Even when they are wearing makeup, but I'm not wearing any makeup because I'm showing you my plain face, and I'm showing you how I, and hopefully we, improve upon this. I am going to make a video about clearing out clogged pores and helping skin texture, and I have a lot of skin products that I've bought and I've been saving just for you guys to test. Again, you might want to use the spoolie to kind of get some hairs out of the way. Unfortunately, there's not a great way to see all the little hairs unless you have a magnified mirror. And I don't really wish that on anybody. So if you decide to do that, it's a good way to see the little hairs, but it's not great for one's self-esteem. And I would do so with that caution that I don't wish magnified mirrors on anybody, really. But if that's what you got to do, you know, go for it. I have a lighted but not magnified mirror here, and I chose it strategically so that I didn't have to see myself magnified. I'm cheating a little bit and looking in the mirror while I'm doing this, and I'm going to switch the sides so that I can see the other one better. I like to get rid of, I don't like having skinny eyebrows. That's certainly an aesthetic. And in a lot of like nail salon type places and maybe threading places, that's a lot of their aesthetic. And they would definitely make the eyebrows skinnier than I would have them do. And I really am afraid of that. And I would not let a stranger touch my eyebrows. And that's something I'm going to have to work through. I mean, I'm used to growing up in a salon, so either I did it or my mother did it. I have never had to let a stranger do a beauty process on me, and I see where that can be really nerve-wracking. And if any of you guys are in Brooklyn, you can come to Rapunzel Salon on 5th Avenue, and we will walk you through it and hold your hand and make the process less scary. And, you know, we totally listen to you and your aesthetics and what you like. And we try to go for a more natural look as we can, unless somebody specifically wants something that doesn't look natural. And then we do that too. But, you know, if somebody doesn't have a very particular aesthetic, we will tend toward natural. One time somebody asked us to totally bleach our eyebrows so that they weren't like visible at all. And, it was Halloween, but we were like, you realize that this is one day, and then you're not going to look like you have eyebrows for, you know, until a couple of months or whatever, however much for me, it's like, I don't know, 6 to 8 weeks. If I dye my eyebrows, they're mostly back to their original color, but I've never totally bleached them like that. But, you know, not looking like you have eyebrows at all, like kind of as if you shaved your eyebrows off, that's a very particular aesthetic. And you kind of look like a little bit like an alien, which, I mean, there are people with sparse eyebrows and people for a lot of different reasons don't have eyebrows. And they usually want to have more eyebrows. And we'll go into a video about how to grow your eyebrows a little more if you need to. And I'm going to test some products for that, actually. But it was very unusual to have somebody who wanted the aesthetic of not eyebrows for any particular length of time, which was really interesting because there's ways of covering them. As we see people do in those really intense makeup videos where they like put a glue stick on their eyebrow and then cover it with makeup to make their natural brow like higher. I think you might need to have a big forehead for that. But see, now if you look at my two eyebrows, this one is basically done and this one is not done. And this one looks a lot more lifted. And I like that. I like that journey for myself. I'm probably not going to do videos on this channel that go so in-depth or theatrical with makeup that I'm covering eyebrows with glue sticks. But you never know. If I get requests for something like that, I'll figure out how to do it. Oops. I'm just learning this new camera thing. So now I'm going to go to the other side. I am cheating in the mirror over here. I always wondered how my inspirations, people that I've watched, do these kinds of things on YouTube videos for years. I've always wondered how they're doing this and they don't look like they're looking in a mirror. Some of them I catch them doing little glances, but I love how they do what they do. You want to make sure what you have going on here is your actual attached eyebrow hair and not like debris that's stuck to wax, because that happens. And you do need to correct with the spoolie every now and then. And now that I'm looking in this mirror, I see more that I'd like to cut. It's much easier. Yeah, I recommend if you're going to do this at home, definitely look in a mirror and don't look in a camera. You know, it's always just been my dream to share this kind of stuff with you guys. So I'm learning. I know how to do the eyebrow thing. I'm learning how to do the camera thing. Yes, definitely less is more when it comes to this. You definitely don't want to overpluck. People almost always live to regret that. And it's not the aesthetic anymore. However, if it's your aesthetic, still go for it. Just know that sometimes eyebrow hair doesn't grow back, especially when we're older. And I've seen a lot of older ladies when it really was the aesthetic to have thin eyebrows, overpluck and never grow their eyebrows back. So my grandma was one of those ladies. And she never had eyebrows when I was young. By the time I arrived on the scene, like I said, I don't like thin eyebrows, but I don't like wild hairs. And I like to really create an arch for myself, which, because my eyebrows are not bushy to begin with, it takes a little bit more to get that arch. Because if you're picking from a fuller, thicker eyebrow, you can create an arch easier. Okay. I just have a few more. This part, I might be convinced into doing with wax. These hairs at the edge here are usually kind of stubborn, but you do kind of have to be expert level to do that, and I'm not even always 100% comfortable with that, but let's see what that might look like. I'm going over to my wax here. You want to be really careful with the wax because it sticks to everything and it's really hard to get off of stuff that isn't skin. Although, you know, alcohol's a good solvent. Still, I've gotten it on this nail thing and it's going to be a pain in my ass to get off. So use a very little wax over here, very little. Make sure you don't get the tail of your eyebrow. Spread it as thin as you can. Wait a couple seconds. You want to pull this one away from your eyebrow when you pull it. And it's a really tender area, so as for, you know, people who have pain issues, it tends to hurt less when you do it to yourself, because there's like fewer surprises there. I don't have particular pain issues in the eyebrow area, but I really do find that it hurts less when I do it myself. And, you know, just clean up around if that's what you like. I have a couple on the other side. I'm just gonna clean up over here. And then the top. The top I would do with wax too usually, but like I said, it's another delicate process. There is a silicone mat underneath my wax so it doesn't drip or burn anything, and maybe that's where you would like to put down your implements too so it doesn't get everything sticky, because I've gotten my tablecloth sticky now. So you could just go like this. My wax right now, I could tell you by the way it's applying, is not as hot as I need it to be. And I don't really know why, because I have it on high. But yes, I would want it to spread better than that. And this is where you might use a bigger muslin. I'm going to pull this way. Why? Because I think it just works better that way. And let's see. See, that didn't feel super effective to me. my wax wasn't hot enough. So let's see. That's why you'll want to get a clean wax applicator in between, so you don't have like that old grungy wax on it. And you might, you know, depends how cold it is in your room too. See, this is much hotter, and I don't know if you can notice the difference on the camera, but it spreads much more easily, and it looks different to me when I'm looking at it. And like I said, you want to put your hair back probably, because it's getting in my way, and I didn't think of it. Okay, I'm going to get a new piece of muslin. They come like this. That's why I cut it. This is even a smaller strip. And I'm going to pull in this direction. That one felt a lot cleaner. And if you look, I don't know that you can really see. There's a couple of hairs on there. And actually, that one looks really clean. All right, while I'm here, I think that I'm just going to do the upper lip. Some people are really bothered by their upper lip hair. Some people are not at all, and that's fine. But if it bothers you and you choose to remove your upper lip hair, it's much easier than the eyebrows. Just don't get it really on your lip, because that can be uncomfortable, and if you rip, it's very delicate skin. You know, I don't have a ton of hair, but you could see it kind of looks dirty, and the makeup doesn't go on smooth with that. So press it on. This, I don't think that it looks smooth now. I don't think that tweezing is an adequate answer to upper lip hair removal, unless you're someone who just gets a couple of very defined hairs that you specifically want to remove. But I get, you know, fuzzy hairs that can be blonde or they can be dark, and I don't get like particular ones that I can just tweeze off. So it doesn't work for me. And like I said, it kind of hurts, but when I'm doing it myself, it bothers me a lot less. And here we go. Now, the best way to remove the wax from your skin is to not use something like cotton. You want to use like a washcloth or a Viva paper towel. Definitely not a cotton swab, nothing that sheds a lot. And certain paper towels are going to break. And you want to use some sort of oil. Make sure you don't have an allergy to that oil. Let's see what we got here. This is called Wax Off. It comes with the kit, and it works pretty well. But if you don't have anything like that, you definitely should use a regular oil. Olive oil's fine. You don't want to use something that's going to have fibers to get stuck in the wax. And that's it. I am free of unwanted hair, and I'm going to be clean for the new year. And my next video, I will show you some more stuff about eyebrows, shaping and filling. And I will be trying some eyebrow products that I bought from Ulta and Sephora. And I look forward to seeing you guys there. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe. Happy New Year. Bye-bye.